I think that my past speaks very clear as a player and as a manager, because I repeat, and you can tell what you want, but I'm a serial winner, and I showed this also in England. In
Antonio Serie winner Conte. He's done it at Juve, Chelsea, and Inter, and he's now title bound with Spurs. Can he do it this time around with the Tottenham, or will he bust and dry? Well, let's get into it. What's up? It's Bobby, and yeah, let's talk about Conte. While I have an opinion, obviously, about Conte, and I assume that Conte is just not in the EPL just to be there for, for fun. I do think Conte came to Tottenham to challenge or even win the Premier League this year, and I've got thoughts on it. Obviously, it's not going to be easy facing off two of the best teams so far, with obviously challenging Manchester City and Liverpool, which are so far, they're literally the best of the best currently. So yeah, so in the last 5 years, Manchester City and Liverpool haven't actually broke the 90-point barrier every single time. They've only done it twice. So they've done it in the 18-19 season and in the last season, which was the 21-22 season, which was the previous season from this one, which where City had 93 points and Liverpool had 92 points. In the 18-19 season, City had 89 and 98 points, and Liverpool had a mad 97, which without company, they would have probably won the league. I mean, I think that's the league that they had a point. They had only one loss in the whole season, which is crazy, which is mad. Liverpool nearly won that one. So, and the only time whereby they've actually had that kind of that vibe. So the other previous seasons they haven't actually been so sensational. They were sensational, but then they haven't been world class like La Liga, whereby last I think in 2016 17 season and going down, those seasons consistently Barcelona and Real Madrid were playing at 90 plus each season. They were literally making those other teams look like they're not even competing. So that's just my opinion on it. But then I do feel like there's a gap in the Premier League for another team to come in there and try to submit themselves to try to win that Premier League. I mean, in the 1920 season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his very young Reds actually got close to City. Not saying that they actually put a challenge on the title, but then they were actually close to City in that season. So that's just to emphasize that they were actually close enough to not win the league, but then they were actually a gap, they closed the gap between Liverpool and City. So I do feel like there's a chance for Conte to make a big upset this coming season. And Conte has always been in this vibe that he kind of loves rattling the top sides. Now, when he went to Juve, I think it was the 1920 season when he got there. Juventus were dominating Serie A, and when he got there, it was the first season where, not the first season, but then Juventus were actually challenged by another team. Only 1 point costed Conte from actually nearly winning the league. 1 point. He had less losses in that season. Pretty much a lot of draws, which will play a big role in my argument very soon. So yeah, and then he went on to actually go do a madness in that season, because the next season that came, he actually won that season. And guess what? He won it at 91 points with lesser losses and more draws. So I do feel like Conte is that one manager that can really bridge that gap between those super mega clubs, because he has that's where he knows how to set his teams up in that certain way to grind out wins. He's a type of manager that doesn't just go into these these matches with an idea that if it's not working out, they will definitely try to grind out a win. They will definitely try to, get a 1 point out of it. They'll make sure they get a point, or they'll grind out a one, type of win upon it. So before Conte, Spurs were in a bit of a funny place because I'm not gonna include the FA Cup or the Capital One, the Carabao Cup. I'm gonna talk about mainly the Nuno. When he was actually the manager of Tottenham, he was only able to get 5 wins and 5 losses during his time at Tottenham in the Premier League. And at the time, there was actually a time where Tottenham was actually 7th in the league, and his BPM was actually at 1.50, which is not, it's bad. I'm not going to lie, it's not that good. Now, Conte, he was able to win 17. He had 17 wins and 5 draws and 6 losses, and he had a BPM of 2.00, and that's just showing the quality that Conte is. Actually got them over the line, got them Champions League football while he was at it. Top class managers, that's what they do really. And the squad. So for me personally, the squad is at the point whereby at the place where they need to win a title. Like, this team are all at the point. So the main 2 players that are important to Tottenham right now in the modern era, the legends for these Londoners that they'll never forget, is definitely Harry Kane and Heung-min Son and Hugo Lloris. And I won't emphasize on Lloris' contract situation. I don't think he will actually leave Tottenham. Will he go? Really? There's no top tier team that would actually want him. But for me personally, I think that Kane, who's got a contract that's expiring in 2024, and he's only 28 years of age, and Heung-min Son, whose contract is going to expire in 2025, and he's at 30 years. So bring in a
serial winner,
CONTE, and show them that you can win titles. So the squad is at a point whereby they need this, like, at the right age. I remember United Arena, when we were heavily linked with Man United, were heavily linked with CONTE. He wrote something about the players. You can't have Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo, Varane, all those players. It's just for them to go through another rebuild. No. Bring in a manager that understands how to win. Conte is absolutely that. He's that manager that's going to come into this team, add a couple of individuals, and get you those trophies. Best believe me, Conte will win you trophies. That's just how it is with Conte. He's a serial winner. He says it. He understands what it means to win. And, well, let's talk about the good bits. Transfers. So one of my favorite quotes about Conte that he actually said, he said, you don't eat for 10 euros in a 100 euros restaurant. And let's just say he was kind of right. He got sacked at Juventus for wanting more players. He got sacked. Well, he left Inter Milan because he wanted more players. And even though I do feel like the way he goes about things, I wouldn't want him at my club, at either of my clubs, because there's no actual. He comes there with players that are there for a certain job. They're there for his 18 months stint, and they're done. We move. Goes to the next club, does the same thing. It's not that he destroys teams. I don't believe he destroys, but then he's got a model that he works with, and it's working for him. So you can't blame him really. But you can see the similarities when he went and he won at Inter. He got himself Lukaku, a big striker who doesn't really have the best dribbling skills and stuff like that, but as a mad hold-up play. Kane is times 10 what Lukaku would ever dream to be as a striker. He got Ashley Young, which is Ivan Perisic at Tottenham. Ashley Young was for Inter, and he got himself Bromovich. He didn't buy him, but then he was already there. But then that's like Balkanku, Rodrigo. They're quite similar in profile. They're players that are good at like taking the ball at the back and like distributing it very well to the players that are well more talented to do things with it. Hakimi, I think Spence will play that fullback at the right side better than any other player. I think the signings that they've done are not to do a rebuild. These are signings intent on getting a Premier League. So what are my thoughts on it? Well, if you ask me, Conte is not here to win an FA Cup. He's not here to win a Carabao Cup. He's not here to win the Champions League. He's never been good in those type of cup competitions. Yes, he does have a couple of Italian cups that he's won with Juve. He's got a couple of he's got an FA Cup with Chelsea. But then for me, where Conte shines the most is when he is there challenging for a title. Like I said earlier in the video, he understands how to grind out results out of raw nothing. Like, he actually understands how to do that. He's a manager. When you go in the halftime, he's shouting and screaming, and he wants to see results. He's that type of a manager. Let's not forget that in 2016-17, Conte is the only manager that actually divided Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. That Chelsea side won the championship, won the Premier League, and when they won it the season before, they were actually 10th. So damn, you gotta think about that. You gotta put that in hindsight, that you're at a place where you've got this team that is at the right time. Like, this is the time for these players. Tottenham doesn't win a title, a Premier League or an FA Cup, not an FA Cup or a Champions League, there's no reason Kane isn't going to buy next season. Like, there's nothing you're gonna make him stay. That's gonna make him stay at Tottenham, including Heung-min Son, including a lot of the other players that are under them. And Conte isn't there to just, I got them a title. Well, no, he's there to make history with that club. He wants the bragging rights that the manager, that went there and won them the title. And to be fair, I think he might actually do it. I don't know how he's gonna do it, because me actually saying this is kind of like blasphemy in a way, because with the way people view the Premier League, it's untouchable. Like, there's no one that can touch City or Liverpool. They do no wrong. They bought Haaland, they bought Joao Nunes, they've got all these players that are just so shiny, for these teams that score without strikers and all those things. Well, if I do say, one injury can just cost you the whole entire season. We saw that with Liverpool in the 2021 season. So yeah. And another thing, the 5 sub rule will be something that Conte will use. Watch the space. I'm telling you, he will utilize that new rule. I swear to God. So yeah, I've been your boy Bobby, and like, subscribe to the videos, obviously, and